Alright, what is going on everybody? Quancredible here. Sorry for the delayed review. I'm actually in a different country right now. It's like a long story that I will make a video about explaining everything that is happening right now. But that will not stop me from bringing you the Black Clover chapter review, even if it is, albeit a bit late. So, immediately hopping into it, this chapter picks up right where we left off. Or not necessarily right where we left off. They did advance time a couple of days, which I think was a good choice to, kind of cut down on like meaningless filler. But it begins with Asta and Nero outside of the Magical Congress or the Magic Parliament, whatever your translation said. Basically, Asta was there to, I guess, testify and give his account on what happened. Now, unfortunately, to his dismay, him and Nero were arrested immediately as soon as they got there and put on trial. Now, the leader of the Congress is the person that we saw at the end of the last chapter, Deminato Kira. That's I'm gonna call him Deminato, just because that's what it looks like to me. He is the head of the Congress or Magic Council, whatever you want to call it. So basically, he begins to go over their like background and stuff. He basically puts it out there that Asta is a peasant from the Forsaken Realm with no parents. They have no information on Nero outside of having horns, which is showing that she's used forbidden magic, which really isn't helping them out, because as we all know, in the Clover Kingdom, everything is extremely classist and is a really biased system to, like, if you're ranking higher up in terms of nobility and status, you look down on people like Asta and Nero. So basically, from the very start, this whole thing was stacked against them. So of course, Asta is trying to tell them that this was all the work of a devil. The devil was the one who set up the elves that possessed everybody, that tricked everybody. But it's one of those things where I can kind of understand why the people, I mean, outside of the noble and royal jerks that are probably just sitting in there not trying to hear it, but even if you look at it, that would be really hard for them to kind of believe. Like, that sounds like a far-fetched story for just a regular person in this verse. Nero even remarks that even with all the work that Julius has done, there's still lots of prejudice and discrimination in the Clover Kingdom, which is very true. And then it's at this point that Deminato walks up to Asta and he says something along the lines of either you will be judged as a demon or the Magic Knights will bear the brunt of responsibility. So it's one of those things where this in itself is really important, because granted, is Deminato a jerk for doing this? Yes, but at the same time, he's one of those people that's looking at the bigger picture. Obviously, if you blame the Magic Knights for this entire event, then your entire nation will not trust your military force, which can lead to huge separations, rebellion, people not knowing what to do. So for him, he's like, okay, either we sacrifice this one peasant, we blame it all on like him, or we blame it on our trusted military force. So it's one of those things where it's like, granted, it isn't true justice, which I thought he was going to be like one of those true justice above all type characters, but it looks like he's more of a realistic justice type character, where it's like, okay, we're going to have to blame this guy to keep the peace overall for the big picture. It also doesn't help the fact that Asta cannot prove the fact that there was a demon there, which, I mean, it is true, they did kind of kill him. He faded away with no trace. I mean, the only people who actually physically seen the demon that was there would be Yuno or Yami. And Yami being a foreigner, even if he does show up in court to help out Asta, I'm not for sure how much his word would stand. And it comes from the same backgrounds as Asta, so they're not going to believe him either. Because like none of the other captains were there or not possessed. Because Charlotte was there, but she was possessed, so she more than likely doesn't remember anything. So then they use Marie, Gauche's sister, as almost like bait for Asta. Like, okay, well then, if it wasn't you, then I guess we're just gonna have to blame everybody else. And then of course they start with Marie, a young child, to kind of bait him into getting riled up. So like as they go to execute her, Asta goes into his black form to stop it, saying he disapproves of the justice. However, going in this form definitely does not help his case at all, because now he looks definitely like a demon, and this is not going to make anybody believe him anymore. And that was the end of the chapter. Now the thing here is, this is starting a new arc, or this is like starting something, because if you look at when Black Clover like mini arcs, or whenever their arcs begin, it always starts off one way and then it ends up going like completely left field. Like it usually ends up going a way that we didn't see it at all. Or take the one arc that had Yami fighting against the Eye of Midnight Sun. That all started just with Asta and Gauche and Sister Teresa trying to save the orphans, and then that spiraled into that. Or like take the Witch's Forest arc, for example. If that arc was just supposed to be Asta getting his arms fixed, but it spiraled into getting involved with the Diamond Kingdom and the Eye of the Midnight Sun. So it's like Black Clover arcs, they start one way and then they tend to go and become something totally different. So as for where this one could possibly go, I really have no idea, because the field is open. Like the field for what is next in Black Clover is so open, and especially with all the setup that Tabata made Julius do throughout the course of these next few chapters, it's possible that Asta could have to go on the run after this. He could have to possibly leave the country and just kind of live out there for a little bit, or maybe find some way to prove the existence of devils, or there's so many different ways that it could go. I mean, then you could also take into account that what if the other captains come in and try to stick up for Asta? So it's like there's lots of different ways that this could go. Honestly, I kind of would like to see the other captains stick up for Asta. That would be really cool to see. But let me know what you guys think of this chapter. And then, like I said again, apologies for being a little bit late. I'm in another country right now, so my time zones are all messed up. I'm jet lagged like crazy and super exhausted. But like I said, like and sub if you enjoyed the video. Feel free to share, and I will catch you guys next time.